Hello everyone, this is part 9 of What If Naruto Was the Hollow God, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Kakashi and Sasuke were standing in front of Danzo and the elders in the Hokage Tower. They have just returned from Suna and are there to report about how the mission went. Danzo and the elders looked at the two of them, and noticed that, while Kakashi looked tired and worried, Sasuke looked smug. It made Danzo wonder. What happened? Danzo's question was short, but it carried the weight, and Kakashi knew right away that he and Sasuke are in deep shit if they don't manage to get themselves out of this. Kakashi sighed, and explained what happened from the time Team 7 arrived in the sand, until the three of them awoke lying on the grass in the land of rivers, some distance from where they fought against Sasori. He then explained what Seraphal told him, about they were saved by some bounty hunters who were following them since the sand village, and how they left while taking Sasori with them. After that, a bunch of ninja from the sand, led by Temari and Kankuro, arrived as they were there to help, but they were late, as Gaara was already dead. Kakashi said how seeing that Gaara is dead, and blaming herself for that, as she was the one who sealed Ichibi inside of him, Chiyo went and used a forbidden jutsu she created and revived Gaara, at the expense of her own life. Once Gaara awoke and learned what happened, he was not happy, but didn't make a fuss, out of respect for Chiyo. Right there, Gaara told the Leaf Ninja that they are free to go back to their village, as they are not required, and that next time something like this happens, they shouldn't risk their ninja for something that will not happen. Meaning, that Gaara has no intention of renewing the alliance between Sand and Leaf. Seeing that there is nothing they can do to change Gaara's mind, and since their mission has failed and on top of that, Sai was dead, Kakashi decided that they should just leave. Danzo glared at Kakashi and Sasuke, not happy one bit. So you failed the mission, he growled, sending shivers down Kakashi's spine, and even making Sasuke unnerved. Again. Well, yes, Kakashi sighed, not knowing what else to say but to admit the obvious. Team 7 is considered to be the strongest team in the village, Danzo said. And yet, in just few weeks, you have managed to fail 2 S-rank missions, which were of the vital importance to the village. By failing in such a way, you have brought the shame upon the village, and have practically declared to everyone that we are weak, if team like yours is considered to be the strongest. So, tell me Kakashi, why shouldn't I execute all 3 of you, and be done with it? Danzo asked in the end, with narrowed eyes. Kakashi gulped, and said, well, it's actually only 2 us left. Kakashi's response surprised Danzo and the elders, and wondered what he meant by that. Then they remembered that Sakura is not there, so Danzo asked, where is the Haruno girl, Kakashi? Well, you see, after we failed the mission, I decided that we shouldn't return empty-handed, Kakashi explained. I also realized during the battle against Sasori, that we are not strong enough to fight against the Akatsuki, and that there isn't anyone in the village who can. As such, I thought that Sasuke will be the only one among the Leaf Ninja who will have the chance, but he will need a lot of time to train, or a big power-up immediately, which will shorten the distance between him and the Akatsuki and shorten the time he will need to train. Danzo growled. What did you do, Kakashi? Kakashi gulped and looked at Sasuke, who smirked and closed his eyes, drawing the attention at himself. Few moments later, Sasuke opened his eyes, and showed the Mangekyo Sharingan, instead of the regular Sharingan he used to have. XXX. Sasori walked into another cave where he was met by Pain and Zetsu. What happened, Sasori? Pain asked as soon as he saw his subordinate. He was visited earlier by Zetsu, who informed him that Deidara blew himself up and destroyed everything in 10 kilometers radius, so he assumed that Sasori was dead as well, since he was within the blast radius. How did you survive Deidara's explosion? Sasori sighed. I survived because the cavern was close to the outside range of the blast that imbecile caused, so I was able to escape in time, he growled. I was captured by some bounty hunters after that, who have been following the Leaf Ninja, Granny Chiyo and the Ice Devil, ever since Suna. Fortunately, I was able to give them the slip, part way toward wherever they were taking me. That is bothersome news, Pain said. Who were they? And how were they able to capture someone like you? There were 4 of them. 3 girls and 1 guy. One girl was being carried by the guy and was apparently unconscious, while I was being carried by the other girl. The third was just walking next to the one carrying me. I don't know who the girls were, but the guy though. He looks quite a bit different, but I was able to recognize him as Alessandro Stark. An S-rank ninja, who is in Oto's and Iwa's bingo books. Is that so? Pain wondered. So he is a bounty hunter, huh? Interesting. How did you give them the slip? And were you able to find what they wanted from you? They kept me sedated with a seal on the forehead, Sasori said, getting raised eyebrows from Pain and Zetsu. But on the way, the seal malfunctioned and I was able to escape after a small battle where I caused a wide area destruction and lost a lot of my puppets in the process. I will admit that they were really powerful. All three of them would have been good addition to the Akatsuki if only they could be convinced to join. Okay, Pain said. I will see if I can do something about that. But first, what can you tell me about what they wanted from you? Sasori shook his head. I don't know, he said. I didn't want to stick around and risk being permanently caught or killed. As I said, they are all S-rank, and there were 3 of them. If the battle progressed for a little longer, I would have been defeated, so I escaped as soon as I saw the chance. Pain looked at Sasori with narrowed eyes. All this seems a bit strange to him, and he thinks that there is something off about Sasori, but he can't figure out what. He will have to check that out later. Fine, Pain said. Go and get some rest and try to rebuild your puppet forces as soon as you can. You will need them in the future, especially now that you are without a partner. I will send Toby to work with you for the time being. I will also check out those 3 and see if they would be willing to join. Sasori nodded. I will be going to the land of grass in a few days to meet with my spy in Orochimaru's ranks. If Toby doesn't show up by then, he can find me around Tenchi Bridge. Pain nodded, and then his hologram disappeared. Zetsu followed after and sunk underground, after which, Sasori turned around and left. None of them noticed a figure standing in the shadows of the cavern, listening to everything that the 3 Akatsuki have been talking about. XXX. Naruto sat in the office under the former Azuki's tower, with a smile on his face. Along with him, Tayuya, Taya and Naruto blood clone, who now looks like Cielaporo, are also in the room. It has been 4 days since Naruto, Sako, Fu and Juvia went after the Akatsuki, and 3 days since they returned from that job. Once they returned, Naruto had Tayuya use her hollow powers on Sasori, and made him believe that he was never brought there, but was able to escape from his capturers on the way to the whirlpool. The reason Naruto did this, is because he wants to have some spies in Akatsuki, and as such, he sent Sasori back there, thinking he went on his own accord, and then sent Sako to follow him and spy on him from then on. Tayuya also implanted into Sasori's mind, the images of a supposed battle, and how Naruto, Sako and Fu are all S-rank shinobi, and are worthy of the Akatsuki. This was done in order for the leader of the Akatsuki to get interested and offer them to join. The plan is that once they are given an offer, Naruto and Fu will reject, while Sako will accept, and will join the Akatsuki as their spy. The other Akatsuki will think that there was a falling out among the 3, and Sako left them, so there will be no need to doubt her loyalty. Naruto looked at Tayuya and said, "You know, if you weren't my cousin and ally, I would have killed you the moment I found out what your hollow powers were." Tayuya and Taya were shocked by Naruto's words, and looked at him with shocked eyes. The 2 of them noticed that even the blood clone was having the same thoughts as the real Naruto, just by the look on his face. But why? Tayuya asked. Naruto saw the fear in her eyes, and sighed. Your powers remind me far too much of Aizen's, Naruto said, this time getting raised eyebrows from the 2 girls. They didn't know who Aizen is, so they were confused. Seeing their confusion, Naruto explained. Aizen was the guy the first used to work for while in Huko Mundo. He was a Soul Reaper captain who betrayed Soul Society and went on his own, in order to achieve his goals. His power was the power of complete hypnosis, and allowed him to control all 5 senses of anyone caught in his power. Technically, once you are caught, you are all but done for, as there is no way to break out of his hypnosis. It's permanent, and as such, he can do with his victims whatever he wants. The worst thing is, the victims don't even know they are caught in his powers. Some parts of me hated Aizen more than anything else, and couldn't stand him, but were powerless because of his hypnotic powers, but also because of his skill and other powers. So you see, when I found out that your hollow powers are almost exactly like his, only used and activated in a different way, I almost went ballistic. As I said, if you weren't my cousin and ally, I would have killed you right then and there. You can't possibly blame me for something like that, Tayuya almost screamed. It's not my fault my hollow powers mirrored by original powers in some way and ended up like that. I don't blame you, Naruto said. I was just precautions. As I said, there was no defense against Aizen's powers, and once you were caught, you were all but done for. Only someone far more powerful than he might have a chance of defeating him even when trapped under his hypnosis. Are you more powerful than him? Taira asked. Naruto shrugged. I am more powerful than he was the last time any of the Espadas saw him. The thing is, that he became much more powerful after the death of the last Espada, and has reached the transcendent level. I'd say that at this point, we would be about equal. But that doesn't matter at this point. Not only that he is in a completely different world, but he was also defeated and sealed away. I doubt he will ever get free from the seal which was placed on him. Naruto was silent for the next minute, along with the others, before he said. Listen Tayuya. Aizen's hypnotic powers have made him nearly invincible, but have also made him quite arrogant, which in the end, was the cause of his defeat at the hands of a 15-year-old kid who ended up transcending the transcendent. I do not want you to end up like that, so I'm telling you now. Learn to control yourself and those powers of yours, and only use them when it's absolutely necessary. I promise you one thing though. If you end up starting to believe that you are invincible, and follow the same path Aizen did, I will kill you personally. There was a dark look on Naruto's face when he said that, and it made Tayuya and even Taya nearly piss their panties. After a minute, Tayuya managed to calm down, and sighed. Fine, she said. I promise to learn to control my powers and not use them unless it's necessary. Naruto looked at Tayuya for a few moments, before he smiled and said. Good. Now, let's get back to business. As you know, I let Sasori go because I thought it might be better to infiltrate the Akatsuki, than to question Sasori. As such, Sasori will tell the leader of the Akatsuki about Sako, Fu and me, and they will most likely approach us. Sako will accept the offer and join him as our spy. That way, we will have access to the Akatsuki's plans and know for sure about what they are planning to do with the Biju once they capture them all. Once we have the clear picture, we will know how to proceed. The others nodded at the plan. Until then, we will continue with the construction on the country and with the training of everyone who has some power and plans to be ninja. Tayuya, Taya and Cielaporo nodded, and then they all stood up and left the office. They plan to go and check out how everything is going in the village and see where they can personally help. XXX. The four of them spent some time, going around the construction sites, and the rest of the country so that they can see how everything is going, and to see if some plans have to be changed. One thing they didn't yet agree on, is the new cage tower, as well as the Emperor's palace. The reason they didn't yet come to a decision, is because they don't know where to build what, and didn't even know if the cage tower is necessary. After few hours of going around the construction sites, Cielaporo, Tayuya, Taya, Isaribi, Fu, Juvia and Sasam have all gathered in the office to discuss about the construction and about different plans to the future of the country and the whole of N. Those in the room, along with the Suzumbachi and Sako who were not present, are the strongest people in the land of whirlpools, and are the ones who are giving orders and are doing the most important jobs. Where is Suzumbachi? Naruto asked, as he hasn't seen her ever since he returned from the land of rivers after the failed mission to save Gaara. She decided to go and do some bounty hunting, Sasam said. She said that it would be a good way for her to train herself, as diversity in battling is always welcomed. Okay, Naruto nodded. Well, then let's get to business. We need to talk about the future conquests of the rest of the N. The eastern part is all but completely taken over by two of my blood clones, another of my clones is taking over the south of the EN, while few more are currently on standby and are waiting on how to proceed. Taking over the smaller countries will not be a problem, but I want all of your opinions on how to go in taking over the Big Five. Everyone in the room looked at each other, thinking about the question and looking to see if anyone has some ideas. They knew that with their power, it won't be hard to take over the EN, and Naruto knows that. But, he probably wants another way to take over instead of just barging in and killing everyone who stands in the way until there is none left. Naruto and Cielaporo knew that they have changed a lot in the last 3 years ever since they came back to the N. Them from back them, wouldn't have a problem with going and killing everyone in his path, but them of now, are different, they have mellowed down a little, not that much, and don't want to just go and kill, as they knew that innocent people will die if they go that way. So, they are looking for a more clean way of taking over, thus, the opinions of the others in the office are very important. Well, we can always let them exterminate each other. Taya was the first one to tell her idea. Everyone looked at her, and Naruto told her to explain. Well, most of the N are now divided in alliances, and are preparing for war against each other, Taya said, and the others nodded, as they already knew this. All we have to do is wait for them to kill each other, and then take over what's left. That way, we won't have to do much, and won't have to kill too many people. That's an okay idea, Naruto said, before he looked at the others. Anyone else have some idea? If we go that route, won't too many innocent people will die in the war? Isaribi asked. Probably, Naruto nodded. But if we go and take over everything ourselves without letting them kill each other first, then we will be the ones who kill those innocent people. I simply don't see how to take over without any collateral damage and death of the innocent. They discussed for a while after that, and in the end, no one could come up with a better way than Taya's. As such, they decided to stay at the side, for now, and wait to see how things play out in the end. In the meantime, they will try to come up with another way, in which there will be less innocent casualties. I have another thing we need to talk about, Naruto said, drawing the attention on himself. You see, after we take over the EN, there will be only one country and no hidden villages, but there will still be people with chakra, and it would be a waste if they don't use it. So, since there won't be hidden villages, there won't be any ninja needed, but nothing in this world is perfect, and there will still be jobs which someone will have to do. So, I have an idea on how to deal with both the need of people to use chakra, and how to do jobs. Naruto stopped and looked around to confirm that he has everyone's attention. Once he was sure, he continued. I want to build guilds, he said, getting raised eyebrows in return. There would be several guilds all over the empire. Each guild will have a different name, and each guild will have one master. Ninja will be able to join any guild they wish, and if someone has a job they wish to have done, they will send a request to the guild. The guild master will go over the requests, and then classify them by rank, just like now. The difference compared to how the cages give missions is that, all the mission requests will be placed on the board in the guild hall, and then every ninja will be able to pick the mission they want to do, instead of it being given to them by the master. Of course, the master of the guild can sometime give a certain mission to someone because they feel that only that someone will be able to do it. Also, not everyone will be able to do some higher ranked mission, but only those qualified. Anyway, each mission reward will be given to the ninja who finishes the mission, and then each ninja will be giving a percentage of the mission to the guild, so that the guild can run itself. Naruto again looked at everyone, and saw that they are all very interested in the idea. How will that be any different than it is now? Tayuya asked. I mean, right now, all the hidden villages are mostly fighting so that they can prove that they are better than the others. If you go with that plan, what's to stop the guild from fighting each other, so that they can prove that they are stronger than the rest? There will be rules, of course, Naruto said. Like, there will be a rule that forbids the fighting in between guilds, and the guild which breaks the rule will be disbanded. We can also make some kind of a competition, in which all the guilds will compete. The best guilds will draw more attention and will be getting more missions, while the weaker guilds will have to try harder. This way, there will be no need for wars as each guild will have a chance to prove themselves in the competitions. We can also make a council, of a sort, which will be above all the guilds, and will be in charge of keeping them in line. They will be in charge of organizing the competitions, they will be the ones with whom new guilds will have to be registered, and they will be the ones who will deal the punishment on the guilds. The council will also be the second highest ranked organization, only below the government, which will be led by me as the emperor. Now, everyone was really interested in Naruto's idea. They all thought that it sounds really good, and is worth trying. It definitely sounds better than the current system with the hidden villages all over the place and them all fighting each other over nothing. They would have talked more, but they were interrupted by the knock on the door. Enter, Naruto said, and the door opened, letting Suzumbachi to enter inside. She wasn't alone though, and what came after her, had everyone in the room except Sasum widen their eyes and their jaws dropped on the floor. What the fuck? Tayuya yelled. Naruto, Sapporo and almost all of the most important people in the land of whirlpools, were currently seating in Sapporo office, looking at something that Suzumbachi brought with her and released from the scroll. Right there, in the middle of the office, lied a body of one Sakura Haruno, with a hole on the middle of her chest. But that wasn't the most surprising thing. The fact that Sakura's spirit is currently floating above her body, with her head bowed low and with tears in her eyes, is even more surprising. Of all those in the room, only Sasum couldn't see Sakura's spirit because Naruto never turned her into a human, hollow hybrid, so she doesn't have the ability to see spirits. The others though, they can all see her, thus, Tayuya outburst from earlier when she saw Sakura's spirit walking past the door behind Suzumbachi. Naruto looked at Sakura for a while, without saying anything. No one in the room said anything ever since Suzumbachi explained how she came across Sakura's spirit in the middle of the forest in the land of rivers. She was apparently floating above the place where her body was buried and was unable to move on, because of the betrayal and death she suffered at Sasuke's hands, who shoved a Chidori through her chest after Kakashi allowed him to in order to awaken Mangekyo Sharingan. Sakura was very surprised when Suzumbachi talked to her, because she didn't think that anyone will be able to see and communicate with her now that she is nothing but a spirit. She explained to Suzumbachi what happened, and the former stone Kanoiki decided to dig out Sakura's body, seal it inside of the scroll, and then along with Sakura's spirit, go to the land of whirlpools. Thus, the current situation. Naruto sighed. I would like to say that I didn't expect this, Naruto said, drawing the eyes of everyone on him, including Sakura's. But that would be a lie. I knew that this will happen one day sooner or later. What are you talking about? Sakura asked meekly. She didn't understand what Naruto meant, not that she knew that this guy was Naruto, but she knew that he is the apparent leader of the country currently in the construction. Are you happy now, Sakura? Naruto asked with another sigh. He noticed Sakura's raised eyebrows. Why would I be happy? She asked. I'm dead and I can't even move on. What's there to be happy about? You spent years chasing after that bastard, Sasuke Uchiha, Naruto said, surprising Sakura, as she didn't think that Naruto knew about that. It made her wonder how he knew about that. He was more important to you than anything else. Your family, your friends, even your ninja training wasn't as important as Sasuke. And look at you now. Killed by his hands so he can get more power. You used to say that you will do anything for your dear Sasuke. So that's why I'm asking you if you are happy. You died for him to gain power. You were finally useful to him after years of being useless. So, tell me, are you happy? No, Sakura growled. I'm not happy at all. I loved Sasuke and I would have done anything for him, but that doesn't mean that he had to kill me like that. Aha, Naruto smirked. So, anything actually does have a limit, does it? Sakura growled even more and was angry beyond belief. Why are you mocking my death like this? She asked. What have I ever done to you? Also, how do you even know all of that about me? I don't recall ever meeting you. Naruto smiled for a moment. Then he laughed, then laughed harder, until he was laughing so hard it looked to everyone in the room as if he was insane. It took Naruto 5 minutes to calm himself down enough to be able to talk. But you did know me, Sakura, Naruto said, much to her surprise. You knew me very well, I might say. From where? Sakura asked, while looking at Naruto's face, trying very hard to remember where she might have met him. Naruto smirked. We've known each other since we were kids, Naruto said. We practically grew up together. We went in the ninja academy in Leaf. We graduated together, we were even placed on the same team. Once Naruto said this, Sakura's already wide eyes widened even more. I saved your life several times, Sakura, Naruto kept talking. I did everything to get your attention, and yet, you only cared about Sasuke. Even on the day when I was betrayed and executed by Sasuke in the middle of the Leaf Village, you were there, just standing and not doing or saying anything. We were teammates, and yet, you let me die like a dog. By then, Sakura already knew that he was Naruto, and was crying. I will admit though, that you were one of the few who didn't look happy during the execution and didn't shout for my death nor celebrate, but still, you said and did nothing, and for a long time, I considered that a treason. Naruto stood up from his chair, and walked over to Sakura's spirit and body, before he looked at Sakura's face, which was red along with her eyes, from all the crying. She couldn't believe that this was Naruto, that he was alive after all this time. Naruto looked at Sakura for a few moments, before he asked. What is it you want now, Sakura? Sakura sniffed as she heard Naruto's question and raised her eyebrows. What do you mean? Do you want to live? Naruto asked. Sakura's jaw dropped on the floor. Or do you want to move on? Which is it, Sakura? Naruto doubted that she can just move on, but he didn't have to tell her that. Sakura looked at Naruto for a while, not knowing what to say or do. The question surprised her a lot, which is why she didn't know what to say. She didn't even know what the point of the question is. It's not like Naruto has the power to revive her, does he? Why does it matter? Sakura sighed. I'm dead, and what I truly want is impossible. Try me, Naruto said. Sakura looked at Naruto again, and sighed one more time. I want to live, she said. I'm just 15 years old. I'm young and never really had the chance to live a life. Ha, she chucked dryly. I never realized this until now. All those years chasing Sasuke, wasted, when there was so much more I could have done. Yes, Naruto said. Those were truly wasted years. Fortunately for you, this is not the end of your journey. It's only the beginning. Without waiting to hear what would Sakura say, Naruto bit his thumb, and let a drop of his blood fall into the mouth of Sakura's corpse. This is going to hurt, Naruto looked at Sakura and said. A lot. As soon as he said that, Sakura's spirit screamed in pain and terror, as she was pulled toward her corpse, which glowed for a while. Are you sure about this? Tayuya asked as she and the others in the room were watching the process of Sakura being turned into a hollow. None of them, except Sasum, were surprised, as they knew about Naruto's capabilities, but Sasum didn't. She wasn't transformed by Naruto, so she can't see Sakura's spirit, nor could she hear her. She can only guess what Sakura was saying based on what Naruto was saying and his questions. Sasum decided right then and there, to ask Naruto about this, and how she can gain the power to see spirits. Not really, Naruto replied. But I've always had a soft spot for her back then, and surprisingly, it's still there. She never liked me in any way, and found me annoying. I know that, but she was one of those who didn't celebrate by death, and didn't want it to happen. Yes, she hasn't done anything to stop it, but it's not like there was anything she could have done, as she was just a weak genin. Besides, she loved Sasuke and everything she's ever done, was to please him. And yet, he killed her, which is why I believe that once she is awakened, Sakura will be a great asset to us, and will be perfect for the revenge against that Uchiha bastard. I thought you wanted to take out Sasuke, Tayuya questioned. I did, Naruto said. But Sasuke is so far beneath me, that it's simply beneath me to even dirty my hands with his blood. Sakura, on the other hand, has just as much reason as I do, to want revenge against him, so I plan to train her and then send her after Sasuke when the time is right, Naruto smirked. Can you imagine the look of shock on that bastard's face when she shows herself in front of him and then beats his ass? That will be a memory to remember for all times. Cielaporo and few others in the room smiled cruelly at the picture of Sasuke being killed by the same girl who chased after him for years, and who was then killed by him in order to become more powerful. Ha! The stupid bastard doesn't even understand the kind of favor he did to Sakura by killing her like that, as she will now achieve the power he never will. Sakura's rebirth lasted for several minutes, and after it was done, and the glow around her disappeared, Sakura stood up from the ground in all her glory. Newly reborn Sakura stood at about the same height and weight, but there were some other changes done by the transformation. She has a mask on her face, though instead of it being a full head mask like Fu's, Sakura's only covers her face. On the forehead of her mask, there is a seal, which Naruto recognized as the one Tsunade has, though unlike Tsunade's, which is blue, Sakura's is black and it's faded. Naruto didn't know what that meant. Overall, the mask was very simply in design, and except the seal on the forehead, there was nothing special about it. Sakura's hair color and style were the same as before. There was no change to them. One more noticeable thing about Sakura's new look is the fact that her arms from the elbow down are covered in bone armor, and her hands resemble claws. Also, her hollow hole is in the middle of her chest, right where Sasuke stubbed her with Chidori. She has gained a sword, just like all the other Arrancar class hollow, even though she is not Arrancar, but only Vasto Lord class hollow. Her sword is a katana with a pink hilt, and black diamonds like the one on her mask's forehead, on it. The last noticeable thing about new Sakura, and this one is the most noticeable, is the fact that she was naked as the day she was born. Sakura was standing there in front of everyone, completely naked, and looking over herself. She either completely forgot, or didn't care that there are other people in the room, among which are two males, who has been lusting over her since they were kids. Naruto looked at Sakura and had to admit that she looks great. She wasn't as beautiful as Taya, Sako and Juvia, but she has something about herself that is drawing him to her, unlike the other girls. Naruto noticed that Sakura's body was perfect in every way. She was just about the right size for her age, neither big nor small on any body parts, though if he has to choose one body part he likes the most on Sakura, it would probably be her ass. It's perfect. Just like Naruto, everyone else in the room were watching at the completely naked Sakura, and just like Naruto, all of them were appreciating the naked Sakura, even though most of those in the room were girls. Unlike Naruto and Sailor, the girls at least tried to cover the fact that they were looking at Sakura's naked body. Naruto and his transformed blood clone didn't even bother. After few minutes of looking at herself, Sakura looked at Naruto, and saw that he was leering at her. She then looked around the room, and noticed that everyone was looking at her with small blushes at their cheeks. She immediately realized why that was, so she shrieked, before she covered her chest with her arms, and crouched down, covering her perfectly smooth and hairless nether regions. Why are you all looking at me like that? Sakura yelled. Don't you have any shame? No, not really, Naruto said with a smile, earning him a glare from Sakura. It's funny though. You were just revived and instead of asking how that was possible, you yell at us for appreciating the way you look. That's mixed priorities right there. Don't give me that shit. Sakura yelled, still crunched down, cowering her breeds and pui. So, you don't want to know what happened and why you are alive again, looking like that? Naruto questioned. Sakura glared at him, causing Naruto to smirk. Give me some cloths first. She demanding, making Naruto look at her for a moment, before he shook his head, and took off his hoodie, before he handed it to Sakura, making her blush like never before when she saw Naruto's naked upper body. She quickly gathered herself, and took the hoodie, before she put it over herself, and then since it didn't have any zipper or buttons, held it with her hands around her torso, so it won't show her body, like it does when Naruto is wearing it. Also, since Naruto is much bigger than Sakura, his hoodie, which is only big enough to cover his upper body and down to his hips, Sakura is much smaller, so the hoodie is more like one-piece dress than a simply hoodie. Once she was dressed, sort of, Sakura looked at Naruto and said, "Explain." Naruto smiled and started to explain to Sakura what she is now, what hollows are, and in the end, he explained how he is alive again, and what happened to him after he was executed. The reason you and Fu are different than the rest of us, is because you were both dead when I turned you into hollows. Naruto explained the reason for the mask and the bone arms. If an alive person is given a drop of my blood, they will become human, hollow hybrid, with nothing showing that they are part hollows in the first place. But when the dead person is given a drop of my body, then they become full hollows, thus the mask and the hole somewhere on the body. Sakura listened carefully everything that Naruto explained and couldn't believe in everything she has learned in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Everything she knew and assumed she knew about the world, has gone to hell, with the fact that Soul Society, Hell and Hukomundo exists, and the fact that Soul Reapers and Hollows exist and that right now, she is one of them. Never in her life would she imagine that something like this could happen to her, and if someone told her about everything that Naruto just did, she would have declared him insane. Of course, everything is the truth, her current appearance showing that, and there was nothing she can do or say to deny the truth, as much as she wanted. She wanted to know several more things though, so she asked, "Will I stay like this forever?" Honestly, I don't know, Sakura was shocked by Naruto's response. You are the second person who I turned into hollow, and since Fu was the first and she was only turned months ago, I can't tell you if the two of you will stay like that forever, or you will change over time. Sakura asked a question she really wanted the answer to. Why did you do this to me? Naruto frowned. You were dead, he said. If I left you like that, you would have most likely ended up becoming a hollow, and then you would end up in Hukomundo. There is no way of knowing how long you would survive there, but if I turn you into a hollow right here, then you will be able to stay here if you want, and not go to Hukomundo. Another reason is that I like you. Naruto surprised everyone in the room by saying that. Maybe not as much as I did when we were kids, but I still like you, and I don't think that you deserve to be killed by Sasuke. Sakura growled when she heard that name, but quickly calmed herself down. What now? She asked. I can't go back to the leaf, and I have nowhere else to go. So what should I do? You are staying here, Naruto said with a confused look on his face. I thought that would be obvious when I revived you. What am I supposed to do here? Sakura asked. Naruto shrugged. The country you are in is currently under the construction, so I'm sure that you will have a job to do, he said. You will also have a time to train your new powers, and people who will be able to help you are all here. The fact is, Sakura, you can't leave this place because you don't have where to go, and you won't be able to train yourself in an unknown powers you currently have, which is why you must stay here. Sakura looked around herself, at all the people in the room and sighed. Fine, she said. If I don't have any other choice, then I will stay. But I do want you to promise me something. And what would that be? Naruto asked. I want to kill Sasuke for what he has done to me. Sakura growled, causing Naruto and Sailaporo to smirk. Done. Naruto said, causing Sakura to smile cruelly at the images in her head, which are showing Sasuke on his hands and knees in front of her, begging for mercy, which he will never receive. Sakura nodded at Naruto and thanked him for reviving her, and allowing her to be the one who will end Sasuke, even though she knew that Naruto has just as much, if not even more reasons to kill him with his own hands. Great, Naruto said. Well then, I think that you should get to know the country, since you will be living here from now on. Fu and Taya will be showing you around. The two girls nodded, before they stood next to Sakura. As for the rest of you, you are free to go and do whatever you want. Though, I want Sasum to stay behind. I have something to talk to you about. Sasum was surprised by being asked to stay and talk with Naruto, but she did anyway, so she stayed seating on the chair, while everyone else, except Naruto, left the room. Once Naruto and Sasum were the only ones left in the office, Naruto said. You want to ask me something? He already knew the answer, of course, but he asked anyway. Why yes, Sasum said. What was all that about? She, of course, was referring to the fact that Naruto and the others who were in the office just minutes ago were not human at all. Naruto expected the question, and so he went and explained who he really is, and how he came to be what he is right now. It took a while to explain everything, but he did it eventually, and Sasum finally knew what everyone else already knew. Why didn't I know this before? Sasum asked, feeling a little betrayed. She felt that Naruto and the other didn't trust her, and that hurt her. Everyone else already seemed to have known. Naruto shrugged. I didn't reveal most of this to anyone except Taya, he said. Taya figured out most of it on her own, and most of the others found out from them. Some knew few things, but except Taya, none had the full picture of who I really am, until she told them. Sasum nodded, satisfied with the answer. Why tell me now? She asked. There is no point in hiding it any longer from you, Naruto said. You and Sakura were the only ones in the room earlier who didn't know, and since I had to tell Sakura, I thought it's a good time for you to find out yourself. Do you plan to turn me into a hybrid like the others? Sasum asked meekly. If you want me to, Naruto shrugged. It will make you much more powerful, and will give you powers you will never get by any other means. Your lifespan will increase exponentially as well. You could live for thousands of years unless you are killed. Sasum was really interested in all of this. Having that kind of power will make her perfect for rising the Fuma clan back to its glory, if all of her descendants end up being human, hollow hybrids like she is. That thought was all it took to convince her to go with it, and become a hybrid right then and there. She went and said so to Naruto. Good, Naruto said, before he approached Sasum, and let a drop of his blood into her mouth, starting the reconstruction process. XXX. The next few days passed peacefully in the land of whirlpools. Sakura was getting to know the place, and starting to train her new powers, along with Sasum, who also started to train hers. Naruto didn't have much to do around the place, so he personally trained the two, even though he could have left it to any of the other hybrids who have already gotten a hand of their hollow powers. During the training, Sakura and Sasum showed that they have a lot of promise, and Naruto was happy because it means he has two more powerful subordinates, one of which was discarded by her own sensei and teammate and killed off so that the teammate could get more powers. It was a big mistake on their part, and Naruto will make sure to train Sakura so she can make Sasuke and Kakashi regret the decision. In those few days of training, Naruto focused in teaching Sakura and Sasum how to use Bala and Descora, as they are the two easiest hollow techniques to learn, along with Hyro, though Hyro is a passive ability, so Naruto doesn't have to teach them how to use it, only to beat him up a little bit, so that the defense will increase by itself. Once the two newly reborn girls learn Bala and Descora, along with strengthen their Hyro, Naruto plans to move to Tsunade, and then finally, Sero. He hopes that in the meantime, the two girls will show at least some hint of their special powers, if they have them, of course. Then again, pretty much all of the girls who were reborn as hybrids and even Fu, who is a full hollow, have shown some special powers, few have even awakened them, like Tayuya, Taya, Sako and Isaribi, with Suzumbachi getting close to awaken hers. Naruto, Sakura and Sasum were in the middle of the training in the forest outside of where the city is being built, when they were interrupted by Sako and Tayuya. Naruto saw the expressions on their faces, and realized immediately that something serious happened, so he left Sakura and Sasum to train, while he went to meet his second-in-command and the best swordsman in his group of friends. What happened? Naruto asked as soon as he was close to them, and far away from Sasum and Sakura, so that they won't hear the discussion. Sako sighed. Sasori is dead, she said shortly, making Naruto narrow his eyes. How? He asked. He went to the Tenchi bridge close to the village hidden in the grass, Sako started to explain. He was supposed to meet with a spy he had in Orochimaru's ranks. The spy turned out to be Kabuto Yakushi. Naruto narrowed his eyes even more at the name, but as it would turn out, Kabuto was no longer a spy, as Orochimaru has managed to release him from Sasori's jutsu, and ever since, Kabuto only pretended to be a spy for Sasori. During the meeting, Orochimaru showed up with some of his forces, and they took on Sasori. He fought bravely, but in the end was killed. Though, he was able to take out some of the forces Orochimaru brought with him, and while most were dead, one was still alive, barely, but alive. This slipped past Orochimaru and Kabuto, who left, assuming that all their subordinates who were defeated, were dead and have decided to just leave them there as if they no longer have any use. I was able to take the one still alive and bring her here. She is currently being looked at by some of the medics in the village. Naruto nodded after Sako finished her explanation, and though he had some questions, he first sent Sakura to look at this new girl, as she is a medic trained by Shizune, so she is bound to be better than anyone he currently has in the country. Sasum took Sakura to where the woman was being held, as she knew the country better, and Sako told her where to go. Once they left, Naruto asked, "What was your reason for not interfering in the battle to help Sasori?" "I didn't see a reason," Sako shrugged. "He was not exactly our friend, ally, nor a spy. We left him alive so he can get the word to the leader of the Akatsuki about us, so that he can ask us to join. He had no other use, so I saw no reason to interfere and draw unnecessary attention." Naruto nodded. "Good call," he said. "Tell me about Orochimaru's forces and their power." "Well, you already know about Orochimaru and Kabuto," Naruto nodded. "There was nothing special I noticed about them that is already known to pretty much everyone. Kabuto has a great medical knowledge, and is hard to defeat because of that, but he isn't a threat to even low S-rank ninja. Orochimaru is really hard to defeat, though not because of his skill and powers, but because of what he has done to his body in his search for immortality. He is definitely a mid-S rank ninja in skill, and it will probably take a while to kill him. As for the others Orochimaru brought with him, well, there was a woman I brought here. From what I heard, her name is Guran, and she has a crystal release bloodline." Naruto raised his eyebrows at this, "and she knows how to use it. I'd say that she is a high A-rank Kunoichi, the same rank as Kabuto, but could become stronger as she is just in her early 20s. Outside of those three, all the others were grunts, with barely any skill, so it's no surprise that they are all dead, as Orochimaru only brought them to have a number to fight on equal ground against Sasori's puppets." Naruto listened carefully, and once Sako has finished, he said, "Good job. Now, I have another one for you." Sako nodded. She already knew what the next assignment is and she was expecting it, since she is the only one who can do it. "Your job is to infiltrate the Akatsuki," Naruto said. "Their leader is probably searching for me, you and Fu, and among the three of us, you are the best for the job. I can't risk sending Fu, as they might end up recognizing her, and she might slip up in their presence after what they've done to her. As for me, I simply don't feel like doing such a mission, which leaves only you." Sako nodded. "Don't worry," she said. "I will not fail this mission." Naruto smiled. "I know you won't," he said. "I have already taught you Descora, which means that with it, you can come here anytime, and report, without having to search for other ways to send messages." Sako nodded, and turned to leave, planning to go around the En, and do some bounty hunting as a way to draw the attention of the Akatsuki. Before she left, Naruto wished her luck, with a smile on his face, making her smile back and thanked him. After that, she was gone, and I mean, she was literally gone, like, 1 second she was in the room, and the next she was no longer there. XXX. Harry walked into the infirmary which was built at the lower level of the Land of Whirlpools, close to the harbor. The hospital was nothing special. It was only there for temporary use, until the new, much bigger and better equipped one, is built. He walked to the reception, and asked where the new girl, brought by Sako and tended to by Sakura and Sasum, is. He was pointed toward one of the rooms down the hallway, and he went there. Once he was in front of the door, he knocked, and once he heard, enter, he went inside. Inside of the room, Sakura was tending over the wounds on Guran's body, with the help of one other person who had medical skills. Sasum was also in the room, but she was standing in the corner, and just watching. She had no skills in healing, so she was standing at the safe distance, so she won't cause Sakura and the other medic to make some unwanted mistake because of her. Naruto approached the bed, and looked at the woman lying in it. He looked her up and down, and had to admit that she is beautiful, not as much as the other girls in his group, but she is very good looking. On top of that, she has an interesting bloodline, and if she survives, and he convinces her to join him, she will be a great addition to his cause. Guran looks just like she does in the anime. How is she? Naruto finally decided to ask. She will live, Sakura said, not stopping the treatment, nor looking at Naruto. Though, she did receive a lot of damage, so she will need a while to completely recover. Naruto nodded, before he looked at Sasum. Stay here and watch over Guran once she is treated, Naruto said, and Sasum nodded. Make sure that when she is safe and when she wakes up, call one of the medics. Of course, Sasum said. Naruto looked at Sakura, and said, after you are finished with her, I want to talk to you about something. Sakura didn't look at Naruto, but she wondered what he wants. She didn't ask, but did nod in acceptance. Meet me in the Cielaporo's office. I will be there. Sakura nodded again, and then Naruto left the room, leaving the others inside, while he went back to Cielaporo's office to wait for Sakura, as he had nothing better to do at the moment. XXX. Sakura has finished healing Guran as best as she could, which is not perfect, but hey, it's better than nothing, and Sakura is definitely better than any other medics the Whirlpool currently has. She was currently in Cielaporo's office with Naruto and Cielaporo. Naruto as the true boss is seating behind the desk, Sakura as the one who is a guest, is in front of the desk, while Cielaporo as a witness of a sort, is seating on the couch. Seeing that there is no longer need to wait, Naruto asked a question he is very interested in. What is the current situation in Leaf? Sakura looked at Naruto with surprise in her eyes, as she didn't expect that question. She thought about if she should answer it or not, as that would be a betrayal to the Leaf, but then she remembered that she was in the current situation because her sensei allowed her teammate to kill her, thus, she no longer has any loyalty to the Leaf, and never will. Sakura sighed. Where to start? She asked more to herself than anyone else, but Naruto answered anyway. Start from the time after my execution. I know from before. Well, after you were executed, everything went to hell for the Leaf, Sakura said. Once Sand, Wave and Spring found out, they broke the alliance, and declared Leaf Ninja unwanted in their countries. Sometime later, they would form an alliance with each other. Anyway, as the time was passing, Leaf was getting weaker and weaker. Other nations weren't happy either when they heard about your death, even though they didn't know you. They heard that you were a loyal ninja, and was killed for doing your job, while the traitor was left free and was even allowed to kill you. This all led to Leaf getting less and less mission requests, which was ruining the economy of the village. Then there was the fact that something was strange with Lady Tsunade. Everyone in the village knew that she cares a lot for you and no one understood why she would let you be executed. At the time of the execution, she was noticed to be acting weird, and some guessed that she might be under a very powerful genjutsu, but those who noticed, either didn't care, as it means that she won't fight your execution, or simply couldn't do anything about it, as they were overpowered. For months she was like a zombie, just going around the place and barely doing anything, until she finally snapped one day and was sent to asylum. She was there ever since and no one has heard any news about her current conditions, and no one knows if she is getting better or not, though we doubt that she is. After Lady Tsunade was sent to asylum, Danzo was chosen as the 6th Hokage, as there was no one else. Jiraiya was not interested and was barely seen around the village, and no one knows if that was because you were killed and he was against that, or simply because there was no reason for him to be in the village. With Jiraiya unwilling to be Hokage, Danzo was declared the next best thing, and was announced the Hokage 2 days after Lady Tsunade was sent to the asylum. The village started changing a lot after Danzo was named Hokage. It became more militarized, there were more kids trained to be ninja, and they were trained much harsher than before. He announced that his route program is going to be the official way new ninja were trained. According to him, emotions were nuisance and unnecessary for a ninja, so new kids were trained to be emotionless, while those who were already a ninja at the time went through months of rigorous training and conditioning. Some changed a lot, while some a little, but no one was the same after that. Sakura sighed, took a deep breath, and then continued to speak. The fact that Danzo was named a Hokage, and had the support of the Fire Daimyo, who by the way, was in agreement for your execution, Naruto narrowed his eyes at this, didn't change things in the village for the better, in fact, it made it worse. Yes, the ninja were technically stronger, but barely anyone from the outside of the Fire country wanted to have anything to do with the land of fire and the leaf, and since there were less missions, there was no need for more shinobi. Of course, Danzo didn't care about that, and was pretty much draining the village dry to make it stronger, even though there was no way to return the spent money, thus, the near economic collapse of the village, which was only stopped because of the Fire Daimyo support who was giving the money to the village. The fact that the Leaf Village was increasing its forces and overall powers, scared the other nations, who then started to increase their forces as well, and some started making alliances in fear of the attack by the Leaf, which everyone knew will happen sooner or later because they all knew Danzo and knew he won't be able to control his desire to see the Leaf at the top of the EN, as the only village left. All that militarization and alliances made the EN into a bomb, just waiting to blow, and it's practically a miracle that it didn't blow up already and started another ninja war. With everyone increasing their strength, Danzo went even further and started to increase even more, since he had to make his ninja stronger as he will not have the support of any other country who will help the Leaf, which leaves it on its own. The reason Danzo sent us to save the Kazekage was because he wanted us to save him, but then, instead of returning him to the sand, we bring him to Leaf, where he will either reseal the Ichibi, or use him as a bargaining chip against the sand, so that they will do whatever the Leaf wants them to. But then, that mission went to hell, and we didn't have a chance to grab Gaara, nor did we gain any support for the Leaf, for saving Kankuro and at least trying to save Gaara. That was also the second S-rank mission Team 7 failed in just a week, which left Kakashi, Sasuke and me on edge because we knew that Danzo will not be happy. I have a feeling that Kakashi let Sasuke kill me in order to gain Mangekyo Sharingan, so that the two of them would be spared by Danzo. Also, since with me dead and Sai dying by Seraphal's hands, that would leave Kakashi and Sasuke as the only members of Team 7 and Kakashi would be able to focus only on Sasuke. Again, Kakashi never did train me and Sai to begin with and only trained Sasuke, while I was trained by Shizune. Sai, well, he was originally a part of Danzo's ROOT, so he had training on the side and didn't need Kakashi. Sakura stopped talking. She thought about what else to say, but nothing came to mind. She has pretty much covered the most important stuff that happened in the Leaf since Naruto's execution, and now it only leaves her to answer more questions that Naruto asks, if he asks them. He did. What can you tell me about those who were on my side? That was one thing Naruto really wanted to know. Almost everything that Sakura told him so far, he already knew, but he didn't have a clear picture of who in Leaf was on his side, and who was against him, and he wanted to know, so he can make plans. I know that there were some who were against my execution. I saw that day on the platform, but I don't think I saw everyone, and my memories from that day are a bit hazy. Well, I'm pretty sure you already know that most of the village was against you, Naruto nodded. Many have celebrated that day, and the following days. In fact, the day you were executed has been declared a holiday in the Leaf Village, and everyone celebrates on that day, well, almost everyone. Those who don't celebrate are few and far between, but there are some of them. For example, Team 10 is completely on your side. Naruto raised his eyebrow at that. He was surprised because Ino was on that team, and he knows she never liked him and was Sasuke's fangirl just as much as Sakura. He knew that Shikamaru and Choji would be on his side, and he didn't know Asuma that much, so he didn't know about him. Though he is surprised that Asuma was on his side, considering that his own father was the third Hokage, and he was against Naruto. Team 10 was on your side from the start, and even now, they are on your side, even though they have changed a bit from the conditioning, they are one of the few who didn't change much. Then there is Team Guy. Neji turned against you after he found out that you were the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. He again went back to his old ways, and started spouting about fate, and how it was your fate to suffer and then be killed off by your betters for the betterment of the village. Unlike him, the rest of that team was actually on your side. All of them, and since Neji is against you, he isn't really liked by his teammates and sensei, and even Tenten who had crush on him turned against him after she realized how bad of a person he is. I forgot to mention, but Ino also turned against Sasuke after he killed you and hasn't spoken a single word to him ever since. She hates his guts. Naruto was surprised but also pleased to hear this. Team 8. Well, Hinata was always on your side. She actually liked you since we were kids, and she was never the same after you were executed. She didn't speak a word to anyone in the village for months after your death, and even now, she only speaks to those who supported you. She has also suffered a lot since then. Naruto narrowed his eyes. Since she has always supported you, and has refused to speak a single word to any member of the Hyuga clan, she was declared to be unfit to be a clan leader, so she was branded with that damned seal of theirs, and then thrown into the branch family, while Neji had his seal removed and was brought into the main family. He was also promised to marry Hinata's younger sister, and their child will be the clan head after Hiashi and Neji. Hinata, though, didn't seem to care that she was branded and tortured from time to time, and only trained herself to become stronger. She's actually stronger than Neji and her own father are, but no one in the Hyuga clan will acknowledge that. Hinata was also supposed to be married off to some rich man from another country in order to make Hyuga a foothold into that country and to increase their wealth, but that was stopped the moment she said that if she was married off to anyone, she will kill that person on their wedding day, and then kill all of his family and friends. Once the word got out about that, no one even dreamed about marrying her. Of course, Hiashi and the Hyuga elders were furious, and tortured her until they got bored. It was actually a miracle that she survived and stayed sane after the torture. Hearing all this, Naruto was ready to explode and his eyes have turned black in anger, and has even let out his black and white aura around himself, scaring the life out of Sakura, who gulped. She wondered if she should stop speaking about Hinata, but one look from Naruto and she knew right away that she shouldn't leave out anything about the pale-eyed Hyuga girl, who was one of the few people who always liked Naruto and as such, he feels he owes them. Sakura gulped one more time, before she continued. Anyway, few days after that torture, several Hyuga elders disappeared and no one ever found out what happened to them, or if they are alive. Hinata was suspected but there was no proof, so the mystery was left unresolved. Of course, since Hinata was the prime suspect, she was kept under close watch ever since, but no one has actually dared to try anything against her since then. Naruto smirked at that, and lowered his spiritual pressure, making it easier for Sakura to breathe. Seeing that Naruto has apparently calmed down, Sakura sighed and continued. As for the other members of Team 8, Kurenai is on your side. She always knew that you were a Jinchuriki and never had a problem with you. She even started respecting you more than she did after your execution, and has started to hate Sasuke, Kakashi, Danzo and most of the village with a passion. Kiba and Shino, well, they are neither on your side, nor against you. They are smart enough to know that you were never Kyuubi, but they never liked you enough to put some word for you. As such, they are neutral towards you, but they still believe that you shouldn't have been executed. While he was surprised a little that Kurenai was on his side, Naruto wasn't so surprised that Kiba and Shino were neutral. Unlike with Choji and Shikamaru, Naruto was not so close to the two male members of Team 8 and on top of that, he has defeated Kiba in the Chunin exams in the most idiotic way, so he was almost expecting at least Kiba to hate him. You already know about our former team and our feelings, Sakura said, and Naruto nodded. As for the others around the village, well, Anko was on your side and she was very vocal about that. She was attacked several times for supporting you until one day she had to run away from the village because she killed some of her attackers and she knew that if she stayed she will be executed. Naruto was very surprised by this, since he didn't hear about it. She was declared a missing ninja by the Leaf, but she has basically disappeared since she escaped and no one has seen or heard anything about her ever since. That was about 2 years ago and since there was no word of her, most in the village think she is a corpse lying somewhere, so she was removed from the bingo book about a year ago. Naruto made a mental note to find out what happened to Anko and if she was still alive somewhere to find her and ask her to join him. Then there is Iruka. Naruto was pulled from his thoughts by Sakura continuing to speak. He was always on your side, and didn't like the fact that you were executed. After that day, he resigned as a shinobi and has left the village before Danzo become Hokage. Just like with Anko, no one has seen or heard from him ever since. Another mental note by Naruto, this time to find Iruka and ask him to join Naruto's forces. Konohamaru and his friends are also on your side, Sakura said. But since they are just kids, they couldn't do much. They are still a shinobi in the village, and are now chunin, all three of them. They graduated earlier after the new training regimen made by Danzo, and because they asked Asuma to train them. They are quite strong for someone so young and are one of the better teams in the Leaf. They don't speak to, nor tolerate anyone who isn't on your side. They don't even respect Danzo, but they still do their missions to a perfect success, and even though Danzo knows that they hate his guts, and that they are your big supporters, he doesn't want to dispose of them since they are such a strong ninja both individually and as a team. Their genin sensei was Ebisu, but since he hated you, they didn't like him at all, and as soon as they became chunin on their first chunin exams, they said that since they are chunin now, they don't need sensei, and then sent him away. They've been on their own ever since, but they are still as successful as before, if not even more. The last ones I know for sure are on your side, are Ichiraku's. Naruto was not surprised by this, as he knew that Tuki and Ayami were always on his side ever since they first met him. As for the rest of the village, most are against you. I don't know if there are any more of them who are your supporters, but even if there are, they are very quiet as they most likely can't do anything to change things and others' opinions of you. Naruto nodded at Sakura's explanation. He was satisfied that there are some people in the Leaf who are on his side and care for him in one way or another. He promised himself right then and there, that he will do whatever it takes to save them all from the approaching apocalypse. For now though, that will have to wait. Naruto has something else to discuss with Sakura, so he stood up from the chair and said, "Come with me. I've got something to show you." Sakura looked strangely at Naruto, but stood up anyway, and followed him outside of the office. "Where are we going?" Sakura asked few minutes later, while the two of them were walking down the stairs leading to the vault, not that Sakura knew that. She is still new in the whirlpool, and doesn't know about the lower levels of the former Azukage Tower nor about the vault. As I said, Naruto spoke. "I've got to show you something." "But what is it?" Sakura asked again. She was very impatient, and it was showing on her face. Naruto saw that Sakura is impatient, and smirked. "You will have to wait and see," he said, making Sakura huff. "You will be very surprised though. I'm sure of that." Sakura rose her eyebrows, but said nothing. Few minutes later, they were in the chamber which splits in several corridors. Naruto didn't stop, and walked straight through the first corridor on the left side of the chamber. A few more minutes of walking later, and the two arrived in front of the big, wooden door. Naruto bit his finger, let the blood drop on his palm, which he then pressed on the middle of the door. A second later, the entire door were covered in seal, which glowed for a few seconds, before the seal vanished, and the door opened. "When I first found this room, it was empty," Naruto said as the doors were opening, letting bright light hit their eyes, and making Sakura avert her gaze from it, as the sudden light was bothering her after being in a dark corridor for the last 10 to 15 minutes. "So, while I was with Sako, Fu and Juvia in the Land of Rivers last week," Sakura rose her eyebrows at this piece of information, "so Yellowporo moved a certain patient down here from where she was lying in a special room in a hospital ever since she was brought here few months ago." The door finally opened, revealing a pure white room, with nothing but a bed in it, along with another door at the far side of the wall. The appearance of the room didn't surprise Sakura nearly as much as the person who was seating on the bed, with her back pressed on the wall, with her knees under her chin and her arms wrapped around her legs. The person was an old woman with long blonde hair and with some graying on it. By her looks, she looks to be over 70 years of age, but that was not nearly close, as the person in the room was none other than the famous Tsunade Senju, the fifth Hokage of Konoha and one of the three legendary Sannin of Konoha, along with the last Senju. How? Sakura asked in disbelief. Why? She was all but speechless, and this was as much as she could bring herself to ask. "After I found out that she was manipulated into allowing my execution, I was planning on how to rescue her," Naruto said. "But since she snapped and was sent to the asylum, and I didn't know where that damned place is, so it took me a while to find out where it is, and how to get her out of there, without anyone seeing us or anyone realizing she is gone, until we are long gone. Few months ago, I was able to find a person in the Fire Country capital, who knew where the asylum was. After a few minutes of persuasion, he was more than happy to reveal the information to me. After I made sure that he won't talk to anyone about me and what I'm searching for, I went to the asylum along with Sako, and we were able to enter without being noticed and then find Tsunade. Once we found her, the hard part was over, and we simply left, using Descora. I brought Sako and Tsunade to the eastern shore of the Fire Country, and then sent Sako back here, along with Tsunade. She has been in the secret room in the hospital, and ever since, she was looked over by all the medics we have, not that we have many of them, and they are not good for anything except minor wounds and illnesses. But you are here now, and you are better medic than any we have in the country, which is why I want you to look at Tsunade and see what can be done for her. Naruto finished speaking, and Sakura looked at him. But, why didn't I hear that she has disappeared from the asylum? She couldn't help but ask. That is a major news and there is no way that the village wouldn't have heard about it. Come on Sakura, Naruto looked at her with raised eyebrows. You have lived in the hidden village, which means that you know that everything which can be seen as a threat to the village is eviscerated or covered up. I'm sure that Danzo and the council have heard of Tsunade's disappearance, if not that same day I took her, then the next one definitely. The reason no one else knows, is because they decided to keep it quiet. But why keep it quiet? Sakura asked. Naruto shrugged. I don't know, he said. There could be many reasons. They might have wanted to keep it quiet so that the other lands don't hear about it. Or there can be some other reason, I don't know. But it doesn't matter really. What matters is that she is here, and needs help. You need to check her out, and if you can help her, then do it, but if you can't, then I will have to do what needs to be done. Naruto said with narrowed eyes, making Sakura glare at him. You don't plan to kill her just because she is like this, do you? She asked. What? Naruto suddenly looked at Sakura, shocked at what she asked. No, I don't plan to kill her. Are you insane? What's wrong with you? Sakura instantly blushed under her mask at the way Naruto reacted and verbally attacked her. She had no idea that he would react like that. Sorry, she apologized. But the way you said it, it sounded like you will kill her unless I find a way to cure her mind. Okay, it might have sounded like that, Naruto admitted. But trust me, I have no intention of killing Tsunade. Then what do you plan to do if I can't heal her? Sakura asked. Also, if there is something you can do, why didn't you do it already? Naruto sighed. What I can do is turn her into a human, hollow hybrid, Naruto said, and Sakura's eyes widened. That would fix her right up and she would be as good as new. The thing is, I like to give option to those who I offer that. If I turn her into a hybrid, she will become almost completely immortal, and the only way to die, would be if she is killed. So, what if I turn her and she is better, but then she doesn't like the fact that she is immortal? Not everyone wants that. Some understand that everything which is born and lives a life, should eventually die. Maybe her mindset is like that, and I don't feel like taking that away from her. Which means, that turning her into a hybrid, is the final option, one I will use only if there is no other way of bringing her mind back to normal. Sakura nodded. She understood Naruto's reason, but she remembered that Naruto didn't give her the option of choosing. Why didn't you ask me, if I want to be turned into what I am, or not? Naruto shrugged. I didn't because you would have become a hollow even if I didn't do anything, he said, shocking Sakura. The difference is, that once I turn you into a hollow, you can stay here. If you became a hollow naturally, then you would have ended up in Hukomundo, and I don't know if you'd be able to come here anytime soon, and by that time, you could die, since Hukomundo is not a nice place to be. Trust me on that. Sakura thought about it, and nodded in satisfaction. What about the others? She asked. Did you give them a choice? All but Tayuya, Naruto said. She was almost dead when I found her, and she couldn't make a choice, so I did it for her. What about Fu? Sakura asked, as Fu is currently a full hollow just like Sakura, which means that she was dead when she was turned. I found her corpse in the land of rivers, with her spirit floating above it, Naruto said. I found out what happened and then told her her options. She accepted to be turned, so I did. Sakura nodded, before she looked at Tsunade. If we can assume that the reason Lady Tsunade is like this, is because of what happened to you, then why isn't she better now that you are near her? She must have realized somewhere deep down, that you are alive. Naruto shook his head. I don't think that she is like this simply because of what happened to me. Sakura rose her eyebrows at this. She was put under a genjutsu, which should be impossible for someone like her who is a cage-level kunoichi and has a perfect chakra control. Which means that the genjutsu is extremely powerful, probably something which can only be cast by some dojutsu, or something. I think that after Tsunade was caught in that genjutsu, she tried to fight it, but was unable, and because of that, her mind snapped. It means that her state is not caused by my death, and I being alive can't do anything to fix her broken mind. Sakura frowned. But who could cast a genjutsu that powerful, she asked. And if it is dojutsu, then which one? Naruto shrugged. I don't know, Naruto said. I don't know that much about the different powers of this world, even though I was born here. I never had a chance to learn much while I was alive, and even after I returned here and spent the last 3 years going all over the EN, learning and searching new powers, there is a limit on how much one can learn in that time. The fact is, that outside of the Mangekyo Sharingan, I don't know of any other dojutsu which can cast a genjutsu powerful enough to trap Tsunade in, and cause her current state of mind. But if it is Mangekyo Sharingan, then that would mean that an Uchiha has cast that genjutsu on her. Sakura said. It is a possibility, Naruto said. But the only Uchiha left are Itachi and Sasuke. Sasuke couldn't have cast it since he didn't have Mangekyo back then, and I doubt Itachi would have any reason to do it, which means that it must have been someone else. Either there is another Uchiha somewhere out there, or it is possible that there is someone with transplanted Sharingan, like Kakashi. Sakura frowned again. What about Kakashi, she wondered. He has a Sharingan, so it is possible that he could have used it on Lady Tsunade. It's possible, Naruto admitted. But again, normal Sharingan wouldn't work. He would need Mangekyo, and I don't know if Kakashi's Sharingan has evolved into Mangekyo. Sakura thought for a while. She thought if she has ever seen Kakashi do something with his Sharingan which should be impossible with normal Sharingan, but after a while, she still didn't come up with anything. She has never seen him do anything strange and nothing which she hasn't seen Sasuke do, and until recently, Sasuke only had normal Sharingan. We need to find out who did this, Sakura suddenly said, drawing Naruto's attention. If I'm unable to do anything for Lady Tsunade, then whoever did this to her, might be able to do something, but only if we find that person and make them reverse it. Naruto smiled. You leave that to me, he said. Your only focus right now is to see if you can do something for Tsunade. I will try to find out who did this to her, and once I do, I will make them regret the day they were born. Naruto's eyes flashed black for a moment, making Sakura gulp, before they returned back to their normal blue color. Sakura nodded, before she approached Tsunade, and started to examine her. Tsunade stayed as she is, and looked like she didn't even register that Sakura and Naruto are there. Naruto stayed silent for a few moments, only watching as Sakura was working, before he finally said. I might be gone for a while. Sakura looked at him after she heard that. If you have any information about Tsunade, then talk to Cielaporo or Tayuya. They will inform me about what you said. Sakura nodded, and then went back to work, while Naruto left the room, and went to make plans for the future and what to do next. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.